Omtatah Garden. A way to start your day.
Yes, indeed it is. And thank you for keeping it locked wherever you are tuned in from, whether you're in the country or out of the country. Asante sana. This is Kenya's biggest conversation. Every weekday we are here from 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. Today and tomorrow, if you make your way to the University of Nairobi Chandaria Auditorium, you will be able to attend the Second Employment and Labor Relations Annual Symposium and Exhibition. This is organized by the Employment and Labor Relations Court. Remember, this is a superior court established by the Constitution to deal with specific matters of labor relations and matters in employment. Now, why do they have this conference? They have this conference to bring together stakeholders and court users to discuss the role of the Employment and Labor Relations Court in fostering a world of work free from violence and harassment, including sexual and gender-based violence. This symposium is expected to create awareness on the International Labour Organization's Convention 190 that came into force in June 2021 that prohibits violence and harassment in the world of work. It should share manifestations of violence and harassment in a world of work, share emerging jurisprudence on the right of every person to a world of work free from violence and harassment, provide a forum for workers and entrepreneurs to give feedback on initiatives taken against violence and harassment at work, and all basically to have conversations about workplace that is free from all levels of harassment. Today, tomorrow, University of Nairobi, the Chandaria Auditorium. Tafadhali, go there. Oh, if you're not able to go there, just follow the judiciary and the judiciary social media pages will have all this information. They'll be live streaming it and all. The Employment and Labor Relations Court is promoting social transformation through access to justice. Good things, isn't it?
Very good things.
Ah, yeah.
Indeed.
Uh-huh.
I have more good things for you.
Tell us.
Talk about Loop. Download it today. Because what is it that you're looking for? Just imagine. You want to transact at great rates? Get Loop. You want to make sure that you can make all your bill payments from one place? You need to download Loop. If you can get an overdraft of 100,000 shillings or a personal loan of up to 3 million shillings just because you're on Loop, then you want to get Loop. If you want to have a lock account, savings account, being able to pay all your pay bill and your till transactions from one place and do all of this from the convenience of your phone, these are reasons why you want to download Loop. It's not just an app. It's actually a lifestyle, making sure that everything that you do can be done in one place and at one time. You can actually ask yourself the question, what have I been waiting for?
Yeah.
Get Loop.
Get Loop. Our guest is in the studio. He is Senator Okiya Omtatah, the Senator for Busia County. He's here. Senator, good morning.
Good morning.
Good to see you again.
Thank you.
Very well. Thank you very much for joining us.
Senator from Busia, not Senator for Busia. I'm a senator for Kenya. I'm a senator from Busia. Senator of Kenya, elected by the people of Busia. There's no senator for Busia.
Okay. It's not the county senator.
No, there's no senator for Busia. I'm a senator from Busia.
Okay.
Yeah, just like
what does the speaker call you? Member for Senator for
Busia County.
Yes.
That's a mistake they make, but I'm not a senator for Busia.
I did
not take an oath with the word Busia in my oath.
But you came here on account of the
I was elected by Busia,
the people from
the
Busia.
national government.
Yes.
I'm a senator of the Republic of Kenya.
Yes.
Elected by the people of Busia.
Okay.
But I'm not a senator for Busia.
You're the senator from Busia.
From Busia, yes.
Sawa. Senator from Busia, Okiya Omtatah. Thank you very much for joining us. Now, you know something, Senator?
Yeah.
When you want to have a conversation with the people of Busia or the people of any part of this country and you'd like to converge them and bring them together, there's a way you can send them a message, all right? One message you can broadcast to 2,000 people. Can you imagine?
Yeah.
And Safaricom has a way of helping you do that. They have a package called All-in-One. It brings in together data, airtime, calling time, minutes, and SMSs. 2,000 SMSs, 1,000 minutes of call time, 17 GB of data, free WhatsApp, only for 2,000 bob a month. So they looked at, the call patterns and everybody's needs. And so these are things that everybody needs. You need data. You want to use data. You're using data all the time. You want to be able to call. You want to be able to send them SMSs. And many people are spending. WhatsApp is the number one social media platform in Kenya. So free WhatsApp.
It's called what? The package is called?
All-in-One.
All in one.
Yes.
Okay.
And people just need to go to *544#, and then it brings a suite of services. You choose the Go Monthly, and after you go the Go Monthly, then you choose the All-in-One. It asks for 2,000 bob a month, and it gives you all this every month.
Nice to know.
Our friend City is away for this week.
Okay.
He has taken leave. But he left us with the Proverbs for the week. And he told us this week the Proverbs will be from Libya. There's still now this confusion. There are people who started saying that Libya has two capitals, Tripoli and Benghazi. No, Libya still has one capital. Tripoli, right?
We'll go with Tripoli.
We'll go with Tripoli. The proverb, and listen to it and then give us your interpretation. The naked man in the caravan has peace of mind. He whose covering belongs to others is uncovered. The naked man in the caravan has peace of mind. He who has covering that belongs to others is uncovered.
Yeah, it is true, because I think it refers to autonomy. Once you have autonomy, and you live and if you read some of these people who talk about revolutions, they have always come and classify them and say the weakest group for revolutionaries is the students. Just close the college and the revolution is over. The workers, just deny them a salary and the revolution is over. But the peasant, if he buys into the revolution, you have no tools against them. That's when you have a strong army, when you have the peasants on your side. And the peasants are just naked people in the wagon. Yeah. Because they don't depend on anybody else. But if you have borrowed suits and what have you, if you are borrowing, you are dependent on others, then you are basically a slave.
If you're on somebody else's platform.
Yeah, basically a slave.
It's a very good one. Thank you very much. We saw you last week among the senators who were sitting in the sessions when the Cabinet Secretary for Roads and Transport, Davis Churchill, appeared before the Senate.
Yes, indeed.
And the Senate had invited him to come and shed light on the JKIA and its plans to engage with a private investor on matters, with the Kenya Airports Authority, with a private investor from India on matters of JKIA. Now, many questions have emerged out of this. Let's start with the known, then we go to what came out from your sessions with the CS last week to what remains unknown. What is known is that for a number of years, the question of expansion and modernization of the Jomo Kenyatta International Airport, among other airports, has been in conversation in government and in the public for a number of years. What is also known is that even the JKIA itself, in 2014, a program had been launched to expand JKIA, the Greenfields project, which was later cancelled. What's also known is that this administration has talked a number of times about, we're seeing what the JKIA looks like if we want to make ourselves the hub of Africa and be competitive in terms of attracting the number of visitors who come through JKIA into the country or into the continent. We must have an airport that looks into the future and handling capacity. Now, that is what is clearly in the public domain. What has emerged in the public domain is that there was a privately initiated proposal that was handed over to the Kenya Airports Authority by Adani Group of India. And the conversations had started taking place between the Kenya Airports Authority and Adani. Enter Cabinet Secretary Davis Churchill before Parliament. What did he tell you?
Well, the Honorable Churchill came and he either seemed not to know what was going on or he was economizing on truth. But basically, we are dealing with a case of very high fraud. And I'm happy the way you opened about what is known. Expansion of Jomo Kenyatta International Airport is something that has been on the cards. It's a well-known. So that statement alone disqualifies it from being a privately initiated. I don't know if you get me. Privately initiated is something you come up, something novel.
Someone comes up with an idea that you haven't thought of.
Always thought of. This one is there. It's already done. And if you look at the documents the Honorable Minister brought, among them was the contract called Private Initiated Proposal submitted to Kenya Airports Authority. If you look at this contract, this is proposal, it has two very interesting things that anybody looking out for. The first thing is here.
At the top.
Strictly private and confidential.
Okay.
This is a proposal you are making to a public body, to the management. So if it is strictly private and confidential, who will look at it? So that restriction on this that statement is the first point that we are dealing with something that's not good, because the government is supposed to be transparent. KIA is an open body. They have to form a committee to look at it. You have highly, strictly private and confidential. So which individual is this that is being addressed in this privately, strict and confidential?
It's the receiving entity, KIA.
It can't receive a document like this. It's a public body.
Is it possible, Senator, that what they are trying to safeguard here is KIA sharing this with another private entity? For example, saying, you know what, these are our thoughts on this, and we'd like this to remain between us and you.
They could do a non-disclosure agreement.
Yes.
Non-disclosure agreements and private and confidential are two different things. Private to who? To a public body.
Yeah.
So, but instead of it being called a private and confidential, strictly so, it is clear that you do not want this information to be shared with anybody else, save for the person it has been addressed to.
So who was this man that was being addressed? Number two, if you look at the cover, there's the logo of KIA. I don't have a problem with the picture of the airport.
Okay.
But the logo of KIA claims ownership of the document.
Senator, we do proposals all the time.
No.
We put our logo and the logo.
I'm telling you that because when you look through this document, this document sounds like something that was done by KA, and we've talked about the Greenfields projects and whatever. This was a document that was being prepared for open tender. And I want to tell you that under the Act, under the PPA Act, there are several methods of tendering. You don't just have this one of private initiated. Under the PPA Act, you can have direct procurement. You can have private initiated proposals like what they're claiming is here. You can have restricted bidding. You can have competitive bidding. So Section 38 to 39 provides for direct procurement under the PPA.
PPP Act.
The PPP Act, rather. Private initiated proposals are under 40 to 44. Restricted bidding is Section 45 of the Act. Then competitive bidding is Section 46 to 63 of the Act. So it's not that private capital can only come into a country through a PPP. As the minister was arguing the other day that the country does not have the money to do the airport, therefore we are going this route. The Act provides for several ways of somebody coming in. And given that this Greenfield is a project that had been thought of by the government, and had even been attempted before and what have you, it cannot be privately initiated. There's nothing being initiated. This is an ongoing problem. Jomo Kenyatta is an ongoing concern, and there's nothing being privately initiated. So, at that point alone, you will see that you are dealing with something that is fraudulent. And when you go through this document that according to the Adani proposal, it sounds like a document that was prepared for competitive bidding.
By who?
By the KA. This document, if you look at the language...
Are you saying that the Adani proposal is that good?
I'm saying that the Adani proposal, because if you look at it, a PPA is supposed to be a totally complete.
PPP.
Where PPP is supposed to be a totally complete document with no additions and whatever. This one is like a tender document where somebody is supposed to fill in information. And if you go like when the minister came, he came with a document called the heads of terms.
Yes.
When you look at it, it's like the government is trying to improve on that document. The way you would handle a competitive tender and what have you. This document is not complete. And the Act is very clear that the document must be complete when you propose. So going through this document, you find the fingerprint of KIA is all over. The way you prepare a document for a bid. Looks like this document was done. Instead of being sold in the market through a competitive bidding, somebody invited Adani or somebody made a deal with Adani to go and try and fill it in and bring it back. It does not qualify for a PPP. Doesn't have all the components. It does not at all.
You'll tell us what's missing. I want to go back into, so you've said the law, the Public-Private Procurement Act.
Yes.
Says there are different ways in which the government can engage with the private sector.
Yes.
For engagement with
Five
PPP.
ways.
5 ways. One is direct procurement.
Yes.
Where the government says we have need for a water dam.
Yeah.
That can hold 100 million cubic meters of water. And this will be in water. And we need a private investor to come and invest here. Okay, for public good. And then you go directly and procure from a private investor.
It doesn't work like that.
A public investor. Direct procurement.
No, direct procurement is whereby you cannot get that product anywhere else.
Yes.
Assuming you want to build a house, you want to build that dam in an area. And I'm the one who has got land where the dam is to sit. Nobody else has got that land. Or it's a computer program with intellectual property that nobody else has, and you need it. That's when you do direct procurement. Because you cannot get it in other ways.
This is the only source.
Yeah, the only source is that one.
That's one.
Yes.
Restricted bidding.
Yes.
How do you do the restricted bidding?
Restricted bidding usually is where you have got maybe specialized products.
Yep.
Like when you do this currency bids and whatever, where you have got security features and whatever.
Yeah, for printing of currency.
Yes, something broadly like that. So you restrict the staff for various reasons, which might be for confidentiality or security or whatever. So you invite people,
specific
people who are known in that area.
Specific entities.
Yes,
Okay.
then you can invite them
To bid.
Yes.
Yeah. Competitive bidding.
Competitive bidding is the open market. You throw a tender, you float a tender, and people
We want to expand JKIA,
Yes.
and we'd like anybody who has the capacity
and the interest
to come and tell us how
Yes.
they can help us modernize our JKIA.
Yes.
And you must meet this. Then there's a privately initiated proposal. Privately initiated proposal, what does it mean?
Privately initiated. The important thing is the two words, privately initiated.
Yes.
Privately initiated is like somebody comes to Kenya and looks around and says, there's an opportunity to build a railway between, or there's an opportunity in Nairobi to do a light railway for public transport.
Yeah.
Then he develops a proposal, brings it to the government and says, this is what I'm proposing to do. I can invest in this thing, I have the money, I've got all the capacity, and these are the benefits you will get, and allow me to grow my capital maybe for this period of year, then I can operate and hand over. So if somebody initiates it, somebody looks at it and says, there's a problem here, it's a business opportunity, I want to do it and I have the money.
Okay.
So here, the government has not gone out in any official way to invite anybody.
No, government has not gone out to invite anybody.
Okay. At the point when Adani was presenting its PIP, had the government gone out to anybody to invite anybody to come?
It was Jomo Kenyatta is a going concern. Greenfields is a proposal that has been on the market, has been out. In fact, some contracts had been done before at one time. So there was nothing being initiated. The government wants to expand this runway. It's looking for investors who can partner with it to expand.
Would there have been room in any of the 5 that we've talked about for this to fall in? Because what you're saying is that it falls outside of the scope of what any PPP would be by virtue of the words that you've seen.
Yes,
Would there be a provision under which what we
this
see
particular
currently-
greenfields cannot be privately initiated.
Okay.
It cannot be privately initiated. It's a government initiative. It has been out there all this time. The government has been trying to build. Even the Chinese came in at one time. There was a time they wanted to model it to the Hartsfield airport in Atlanta. So this has been a program that has been running. It's a program on the cards. And then there are also two things in this thing. If you look at the Adani thing, they're saying they're going to build,
Operate.
and manage.
And manage.
You see, there's been no indication that the KIA staff or Kenya Support Authority is not able to manage. So that management component, where is it going? If the runway is what we need to build and whatever, why is the management also going out? You see, so I think the way this thing is configured is that it was configured to defeat the law, to defeat competitive bidding. And if they just floated the tender, I'm sure that very many people want to do this job, and they would have gotten it. And if you look at this document that Adani has submitted, it sounds like a document that was going to was being prepared to call for request for interest or something like that. It's not a pure PPP document. And then the way now, after it has been received, the way it is being handled, the way the minister tried to explain himself, he gave us some 20 steps that he said they are going to
Must be subjected to.
If you look at those steps, if you look at step, I have them here. If you look at those steps, you look at it from, I think, step 6 to around 11. They are basically steps that are followed in competitive bidding. So, the issues, and then one thing they have not done is, they have not done an evaluation. The first thing with a PPP, when you get a PPP according to the law, you have to do, the committee sits down, comes up with an evaluation criteria, they do the evaluation. That's when, after the evaluation, that's when they can go ahead.
Okay.
The minister told us they did a desktop evaluation
Of
Adani. Desktop.
of the entity or of the proposal?
Of the entity. They checked in terms of trying to start out with the, what do you call it? To verify it, say capacity to do what it was doing. They said I've done a desktop. Because there are pre-qualification. There are things that must be cleared before you look at the PPP. You need to know to establish that these fellows have got the money and all those kind of things. And there's requirements that for somebody to declare the benefits that will accrue to the Kenyan people and staff. So you go through this document, and if you look at even the way the minister answered and the steps are giving us, it's like now the government of Kenya is trying to input into that PIP, and yet the law requires that the PIP must be complete for assessment. Now, but then you look at all the process, the government is saying that they're still trying to see if they can negotiate, they can do whatever. So, really, they're dealing like they're doing an open tender where they've identified the best bidder, and they would like them to settle on the terms that are beneficial. So, there's absolutely nothing in this thing that qualifies it for PPP, for PIP. So, it's not privately initiated.
Are we saying that, and especially when the CS was in Parliament last week and asking, or rather answering questions about this particular bid that you spoke of, it should be competitive. Were there other options in terms of folks that they could have considered to do this? Or were there other people, were there other organizations, other companies that they would have considered to do this work? Or did it seem as though it was designed for Adani to do it from the beginning?
Well, I don't think it was designed for Adani to do it from the beginning, but somewhere, because when you read this document the minister brought, as I've just said, they were preparing a document to call for interest and stuff like that. Then along the way, it was hijacked and given to Adani. And that's why it is, for me, falling outside the PPP protocol. The government should have used competitive bidding in this particular case, because There's nothing unique about building airports in terms of industry. So many companies do it. If you have done an expression, they should have floated the tender and let everybody compete for it instead of doing these things under the table.
Senator, we take a break. When you come back, a couple of things that we'd like to hear from you. Number one, whether you asked the minister the steps that have been taken since 2014, when the first real initiative to expand JKIA through greenfields started. Has Kenya Airports Authority done anything else since then in terms of formally saying we are floating an expression of interest on the matter of expansion of the Jomo Kenyatta International Airport, whether it's inviting any consultants to come and help them with just an analysis of what's needed, whether it's taking a cabinet memo to cabinet and saying this is what KAA is proposing through the Ministry of Roads and Transport, and the cabinet then saying, yes, we look at it and we see the program and the implementation is on point, and cabinet passing it. All those steps, whether there were those steps that have been taken, and at what point the PIP landed, and since the PIP landed at KAA's desk, what then happened? Because then it's clear, it would be important for us to know the procedure and the steps being taken here. It's 27 minutes to 10. Our guest this morning is the senator from Busia County, Okiya Omtatah, senator in the Senate of the Republic of Kenya. Keep it here. We'll be back shortly. We are discussing the expansion of JKIA, the Adani deal. Cabinet Secretary for Roads and Transport Davis Chirchir appeared before the Senate last week. Okiya Omtatah was among those who were interrogating the CS.
This is the Situation Room, the only way to start your day.